The James Show Podcast.
Did you see the video of the kid at the baseball game? There was a home run, went into the stands. There was a lady it fell in front of. The kid's dad runs over and grabs it. And he comes back and he puts it in his son's glove. Gives his son a hug and they're having a cute little moment. And then the woman comes over. And the woman, dude, if you looked up Karen in the dictionary, something similar to her would pop up. She has the Elizabeth Warren haircut, which is also the same haircut that I had in 1996. That's the same haircut. Had kind of that Goodwill Hunting vibe going. Well, she comes over and we don't really know what was said. I mean, you can kind of hear in some of the different angles because there's different people who are videoing it. But the dad seemed kind of startled. And after some harsh words were spoken, he took the ball out of his son's glove and gave it to the lady. So we all assumed she went over there, hey, that was my ball, you took it from me, or something to that effect. And so the debate immediately ensues. Did he do the right thing? Is that what you would have done? My answer is to both of those is no. No. Look, the lady that came over and complained, she looked old. And I mean old, like probably like my age, right? I'm late 40s. And she's wearing a baseball jersey that says Phillies. The game was actually in Florida, so it wasn't even a home game. But I think the dad and son were Phillies fans too. And the stadium saw what happened because there's cameras everywhere and it was kind of watched. And I think it was even commented on TV. And so when the baseball team was made aware of it, they came over with the prize pack for the kid. And they gave him like a bat and some swag. But it's not the same thing. It's not the souvenir of a home run ball that was caught and dad went over there and picked it up and brought it to him. No, the dad gave it back. So I wasn't going to talk about this story, except dad did an interview that made it even worse, explaining his situation. So here, the father of the Phillies fan, it's a dad who also looks like he's about my age. And his two kids, they look like they're preteen. There's the son that was there, and then the daughter looks like she's like 13, maybe 14. But they were asked by the local news, what happened when you gave the ball back?
I wasn't very happy that we had to give it to her, but we can't win. She was going to get it anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
She wasn't going to take it, but I decided to give her the ball. I apologize to you, but it was the right thing. We just wanted her to go away.
Yeah.
And it worked out. You got a bat.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
All right, so you learn the moral imperative for the dad is to avoid conflict. If someone comes up and they're raising a fuss, and you have to give up something to make them go away and avoid conflict, it's worth doing. Wrong, Dad. Wrong, Dad. No. So there's personality traits, and one of them is agreeableness. And that may sound like a good thing, but you want to be in the middle. You don't want to be too disagreeable to where you're a contrarian and you can't get along with anyone, and anyone says you fight with them over it. You just love to fight. You love to argue. You'll never get along with anyone. You never have a good relationship. But if you're too agreeable, that's a fault too. That's not a virtue. You are just begging to be walked on. And people, look, I think we're taught, like in elementary school and middle school and high school, when we're kids, too agreeable of a nature. Hey, if it avoids conflict, you just do it. Well, not if it's the wrong thing. Hey, you have to give the souvenir from your son's glove to me. Why? Because I had it first. I touched it first, or you took it from me. No, it's his. Sorry you feel that way. You need to go back to your seat. That's the appropriate answer. I don't mind a little conflict here. My son is getting a ball. You're a grown-ass woman who shouldn't care about such things anyway, much less want to go take it away from a kid. So we have the dad just wussed out. Oh, no, I don't want to have any conflict. From what? What do you think Elizabeth Warren's going to do to you? She's going to say mean words about you? She's going to gripe at you? Oh, no. You said harsh words. I'm so affected. That's why you can't be too agreeable and do this job. I've heard people who are too agreeable do this job. And they don't, so many, like in instances like this, they want to not upset anybody at all times. And so they never really take a hard stance because, the worst thing would be if I offended somebody's delicate sensibilities. Well, not if you're telling the truth in my book. If I'm telling the truth, if I'm right, and I'm not being a jerk about it, then I don't care if you're offended. If you're offended, you probably deserve to be offended. I probably enjoy it. Oh, that bothers you? Good. I hope you lose sleep. Hope it ruins you for the rest of the day. Hope you think about this and think, that James sure is a terrible person. Because I'm right. I don't mind it if I'm right. And so this is what makes it even worse. Dad was asked, do you regret giving the ball up? The correct answer should be yes. I let my kids down. I mean, I'm supposed to protect them from, maladies and challenges and whatever, and I couldn't even protect them from a Karen. So, yeah, here's this answer.
Dad, do you have any regrets giving the ball back?
Yeah, like I said, it's, that was what we were there for. We were there to get a home run ball. So I thought I had accomplished this great thing, and putting in his glove meant a lot. And she was just so adamant and loud and yelling and persistent, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. There was hundreds of people, just staring. And like I said, she was very, very, very close. And I'm dad of the family, so I didn't want to do something I'd regret. And that was the choice I made, is to just hand the ball back and tell her, go away.
All right. Would you have given the ball back? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next on the James Show, I'm going to explain why guys like this are the biggest challenge we have in society today. I'm a dad. I have kids that are about the age of the viral video that you probably saw over the weekend, where a home run ball went into the stands. There was a little scuffle, the little scrum that usually happens. Some dad in a red shirt pops up with the ball, walks over to his son, puts it in his glove, gives him a hug. Angry Karen runs over there, meow, 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 meow. And he just wimps out and gives the ball to the lady. Would you have done that? I certainly would not have. And his explanation of his behavior, unacceptable, sir. Unacceptable. Oh, well, we came there specifically to get a home run ball, but she was really upset, and I just wanted to end the conflict. And no, people, can we not stand up for ourselves a little better than this? Because this is sort of a metaphor for everything that's been happening wrong in this country for the last 15, 20 years. If we'd all just stood up and be like, no, dude, I am not going to wear a mask. But and maybe you didn't say that. Maybe I definitely didn't want to wear a mask, and I fought it every step of the way. But what did most of the people in our society do? Okay, well, they told us to wear a mask, and if, I can avoid some conflict by going to the grocery store, I just won't wear the mask. And what did we do? We were so agreeable. We just agreed ourselves into submission. Unacceptable. This is Holly in Louisville. You're on WBAP. Would you have given the ball back, Holly?
No way. I think it's customary in baseball stadiums. I think it's a known rule. If it's not, that whoever gets the ball, it's their ball. So, and kind of what you're going along with, no disrespect to men, but we really need our dads and our men to stand up, and I would have never given that ball back.
God, this feels like, and I got scarred during COVID, Holly, because there was the first time when they really started the lockdown, and they said you can't go to church. So I was like,
yeah,
F these people. It's literally the First Amendment and the Bill of Rights, freedom of assembly and religion. No, hell no. I'm going to go to church. I don't care if I get arrested. And so
went to church, snuck around, played pickleball.
No, listen,
park rangers.
I was in a big city. I was in New Orleans. It's so damn liberal and just submissive, like this dad. And I went to church that first Sunday. Doors were locked. They weren't letting anybody in. I was like, this is what we do? They say, we say we're going to stand up for Jesus. We're going to stand up for our religion, and no one can come between me and our Lord. Oh, well, there's the disease. We're 99.9% survivability rate, and they want to shut everything down. Oh, well, if I can avoid some conflict, I don't want to be a problem child here. I don't want to be a butthead. It's like, no, dude. Yeah. No. And we all had a chance to be brave and actually stand up and live our principles, and we were cowards, just like this dad, Holly.
100% agree.
All right, well, thank you.
100% agree.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Lori in Hickory Creek, you're next up on the James Show.
Hi. I was calling to say that I would not have given the ball back either. And I'm with you on the whole cowardice thing. I'm just over it. I stood my ground with COVID, not wearing masks, this, that, and the other. And, to the point of almost embarrassing my children, because I didn't want to cow down to that, or cow down, whatever you call it. But we do need strong men in our society these days, and we're not getting it from guys like that. And I hate to bag on him because at the same time, I kind of understand why he did it, because he's on camera and, it could go either way. He could be the bad guy or she could.
No, feel free to bag on him. Feel free to, he's in the wrong here. And while it's understandable why some people would think that, it's still the wrong thing to do. So no, go ahead and bag. Don't be too nice here. You don't have to be nice in all occasions. Don't worry if some people think, oh, well, Lori's a little hard. That's all right. That's better than being, trampled underfoot because you're so nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jerry in Capel. You're on WBAP. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, I don't know if she actually had the ball in her hand and he wrestled the ball out of her hand or what. I mean, if they both grab the ball at the same time, heck no, you don't give it back to her. But if she had that ball in her hand and he snatches it out of her hand, and then walks off with it, then I mean, at what point is it her ball? Like I say, I don't know what happened.
Right. So
down in there.
You are giving the most generous interpretation, and I've tried to think through this exercise too, because it's actually hidden when they both go reach down for it. So did she grab it and then within a second he got it from her? It would have to be a very brief moment of possession. So, okay, maybe she felt dissed at the beginning, like, hey, he snatched that for me. I had it first. But the second the dad went and he put it in his son's gloves, she should have just recognized, hey, you know what? There's a bigger thing at play here. That's a kid and I'm a middle-aged woman. And you know what? Let him have it.
She was old.
How old do you think she was? I thought she was like my age, because I'm 48.
Oh, God, you're a kid. I thought she was closer to my age. I'm 68.
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm not very good at the age guessing game, especially when.
But anyhow, she clearly had the ball and he took it out of her hand. She got a right to bitch. But if they both grabbed it at the same time and he just kind of won the tug of war, then yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, but Jerry, would you have given the ball back if you were the dad and you had kind of snatched it from her hand because y'all grabbed it at the same time? Would you have given it back?
If I stole it out of her hand, yeah. If she grabbed it first and then I took it out of her hand, you're a thief. Okay.
Oh, he didn't say that in the interview, so that's just kind of up in the air. But
yeah, right. And like I say, I couldn't see close enough. But as angry as she was, that kind of led me to believe. Why in the world was she so angry? I mean, did he actually take it out of her hand?
Right. Because that's another big question. Why does she care so much? You're a grown up. You want to? I got to go take this souvenir away from a child. I've reached such a level of injustice on a ball. It's not going to change your life. It's not usable. You can't go resell it. You're not going to do anything with it. It's just a dumb souvenir. Let the kid have it. All right. Good.
Yeah, and no matter what, she is a Karen for taking the ball back after it was in the kid's glove. So
we're back and agree again. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. That's Jerry and Capel. Ken in Arlington, you're on WBAP.
Hey, are the days spitting on it and you want it now over with, or does that still in play?
The kid could have spit on it, maybe?
The dad. I mean, either one. I mean, they both got the same thing. Both. I mean, if I was the dad, I would have done it first and gave it to the kid.
So I'm guessing, jokes aside, you wouldn't have given it back.
No.
Yeah.
No, because we've dumbed down on the masculinity in the United States, and it's happened for the last 20 years.
Oh, I agree to that. It is not celebrated anymore to be a big, manly, masculine man. You got to be a little compliant, noodle arm beta male. That's what they like these days. They like the David Hoggs of the world. They're no threat.
No, they're not. I mean, my ex said I needed to get in touch with my feminine side. I ate some fruit roll-ups, and I didn't like it, so I gave them back.
This is what counts as femininity to you, Ken?
That's it. Ain't Monday's open line joke day?
It must be. Thank you, Ken. All right, Steve in Fort Worth, you're on WBAP.
James, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. If I were young still and had young kids, I might have responded like everybody else is talking about. But now I have a great deal of respect for that man. He was there in front of his son, and he was confronted with what was obviously a harridan. And rather than responding in kind, he showed chivalry. He showed politeness, and basically he said, It's not worth it for this particular situation. And what he did was he demonstrated very mature adult performance for son who got to observe the other person being, like I said, a heretic.
Well, hang on. I think you can still be, chivalrous and respectful and turn the lady away. You can be like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but you're not getting the ball.
Well, you're right, but she obviously was not going to yield on it. So
I know, but I didn't say like headbutt her in the nose.
No. I'm saying that what he did was he said, "Hey," and I can imagine him turning to his son and said, "Son, this is a baseball. It is not worth this." And now, and again, I'm sorry to do this, and I mean nothing about holier than thou, but as a Christian, we're supposed to consider others better than ourselves. And if somebody else is going to be a jerk, as a Christian, as a human being, I want to punch him in the face. But as a Christian, I know I am called to be more polite, to be more kind, and to be anyway. I just disagree with everybody saying. I don't think the guy was a wimp. I think he showed considerable restraint, and he basically reminds me of Kwai Chang Caine. He showed humbleness or humility, and I respect him for it. So I really everybody's griping about how everybody's so nasty to each other these days, and I agree, and it infuriates me. Well, this guy demonstrates a level of chivalry, and everybody's calling him a wuss.
I don't think that counts as chivalry. Given into a harpy who's making what appears to be an irrational demand, that doesn't make any sense, and that doesn't make you chivalrous.
But look at the karma here. Look at what the kid got out of it. Because his father didn't make a big scene about it, the kid ends up with a signed baseball bat. Again, that's karma for you. In my opinion, that was a God incident, and God gave this guy the opportunity to show that he was a bigger man, and as a result, his kid got a lot better than just a baseball.
One of the options for Christians, Jesus taught us, you can flip over the table and start hitting people with whips.
That was not the opportunity. A lot of people like to use that as an example, James, and you know as well as I do that that's a very poor example. Jesus.
No, I don't know as well as you do.
Oh, okay, then you don't. I'm sorry. Again, I don't mean to be judgmental or anything. I just respect the guy, and I'm not a pushover. And usually I'm as much of a jerk as anybody else when they get in my face. I agree with you about basically the masks and not being able to go to church. I think that was a farce. I think the government overextended their bounds.
Now, why wasn't that being chivalrous? Why wasn't that being chivalrous? No, look, I don't want to cause any problems here, and if people are scared about a disease here, then let's not upset them.
You're using a logical fallacy. It's not a comparable situation. Neither is Jesus turning over the tables in the temple.
Right.
Normally, James, I agree with you. I just don't in this circumstance. I just think that the guy he didn't make a big deal out of something that wasn't a big deal. And I
all right. Well, good. Hey, it's all right if you disagree. You got to say your piece on the James Show. I appreciate you calling in with a different point of view.
You.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'm sure a lot of people think like you, Steve. And that's why I specifically like to have people on who disagree with me. So the other people that disagree with me have someone to champion. So you got a champion and Steve disagreeers. How about that? 800-288-9227. The dilemma of the home run ball for the Phillies fans. More updates coming up on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Here's what we're talking about.
These homes in Collin County have prices starting around $150,000.
The mother of a nonverbal child found bruises and scratches on his arms and wrist.
But it's not a recession report. Business investment in capital goods and factory orders are booming.
Stay connected for updates all day.
Keep connected, DFW.
Your Texas voice for common sense.
News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Well, hey there, football fans. Doesn't it feel good that the season's back and you can just spend all weekend watching football? Well, here's a little secret. Add a little bit more fun to the football you're already loving with Prize Picks. James Parker here for the Prize Picks app. Hey, for those of you who had Arch Manning in your lineup, you probably had a pretty good weekend there, didn't you? So, look, it's pretty simple. You make a lineup of 2 to 6 of your favorite players. You go look at statistics, whatever the number is, you pick more or less. That's it. So from 2 to 6 guys, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Now, I would have won this weekend if I had used the flex play. I got a little cocky, but Prize Picks also invented the flex play, so you can not have a perfect lineup and still win. It's not too late to get on the action for this weekend. Unlike regular fantasy sports, you can play each day a different lineup. So even if you didn't play over the weekend, there's another game tonight, Vikings and Bears. Go get Prize Picks, make your own lineup, win some money on me, and you can do it with the money we give you. Download the Prize Picks app, use promo code WBAP, and you get $50 in lineups with your first $5 lineup. So download Prize Picks, use the promo code, it's this station, WBAP, and get $50 in lineups with your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. This is Richard in Waco. You're on WBAP.
Yes, I agree with the last caller. What I could see about it was that the gentleman, he went out of his seating area quite a ways and went over into their seating area, and he could see the ball. I think they were having trouble seeing it because they were so close to it down in the seating, and he could see a better advantage from the side as far back, and he saw where it was, and he just walked over there and picked it up before she could even pick it up. But I think, being so far out of that area, he walked over out of his area. That's my view on it.
That's interesting. So what's an acceptable radius to chase after a ball?
Well, I mean, if it's next to your seat, one or two seats, but what I could see, he went across the aisle, I think.
But he went across all empty seats. It's not like he pushed people out of the way and got in front of them. There was nothing between him and the ball.
Yeah, they were empty seats, but he was quite a ways from it, from where his family was sitting. And but it appeared to me like he could see the ball was laying down there on the concrete, area between the seats better from his distance from it. And they were fumbling around trying to see where, because they were so close to it, they couldn't find out where it was at there. And he could see it. And it appeared to me, he just walked over, and about the time she was reaching for it, he just picked it up and turned around and walked off. But it was just so far away from it.
That didn't bother me. That bothered you, Richard? Do you think that counts?
Well, no, it don't really bother me. It's just it's being that distance away. Usually they're, when they're fighting over it, they're right together. Usually the same next door seats, or of where it's at, not being that far away.
I hear you.
Another thing is, I don't know why these people get so shook up about getting all this souvenir balls and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's great, but I mean, I just agree with that last caller.
No, I agree with you on that part. Because Richard, aren't you supposed to, as an adult, not think it's such a big deal? Like, even if you catch a home run ball, you just turn around and give it to the nearest kid anyway.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd do if it was my kid, or if the kid was trying to catch it and I got it before he did. I was, oh well, you take it.
Well, this means more to you. You're a kid. I'm a grown adult. I should be more mature about such things. All right, great call, Richard. I haven't heard anyone do the radius angle, but I'll take it, sir. This is a good addition.
Yeah.
This is another Richard, but this one's in Fort Worth. You're on WBAP. Go.
I agree a little bit with the previous caller on that, but, I'm really big in this. It is demasculating. We've been taught to have our kids, be pushovers. And I've got 5 boys and a daughter. And not only do I teach my boys how to be men, but I teach my daughters what kind of man that they want to, what kind of man they want to be with when they get older. That ball, the guy got the ball, he gave it to his kid. Worst comes to worst, he should have had the kid throw it back before giving it over to the cat.
Ooh, I like that, Richard. No one said that either. Should have thrown it back. I didn't. Let me ponder that for a second. How about if you're not happy if I have it and I don't want to take it from my son and give it to you, then nobody can have it, and you chunk it back? Yeah, maybe so.
You know what? You get a home run ball and it's an issue, nobody gets it.
I like the way you think, Richard. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it, sir. Let's go to Trey in Saginaw. You're on WBAP.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Always good.
I wanted to comment on the Karen with the ball, the situation. I heard a caller just a little while ago talking about using Christian principles to deal with this situation. The look on the kid's face and the dad when he retrieved it and gave it to him was more important than the ball. I mean, they shared a huge amount of love. And for the father to turn around and give that ball to that screaming banshee, I look at it this way. You are a James, and if you look at James in Hebrew, it's Jacob. And if you go back matter of fact, there's a great book out now by Jordan Peterson, and it's called Wrestling with God. And it's the story of Jacob when he gets converted to Israel. And I've come to the conclusion that if you're Christian, you're waking up every day and you're wrestling with God to get the blessing. That's what I did. My first reaction is, you want to punch her in the gut. If you're wrestling with God, then you don't flip the table. By the way, the table example was about the idea that Jesus was offended that his father's house was being deal, not a personal issue. So I'm saying that I applaud that dad. He's my hero. And then it turned out very well for the young man with the autograph bat and all the other stuff.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that is turning out very well from this, and thank you for your call, Trey in Saginaw, is if you go look up Phillies Karen right now, you see a whole bunch of people who put montage together of don't be a Phillies Karen, and they're showing people who catch foul balls and home run balls who turn around and hand it to a kid, or a kid hands it to a younger kid, or some kid hands it to like a very cute girl that happens to be in the row behind him, and they have like a little flirty moment. And, that's such a more beautiful picture of what you do after a home run. The person who caught the ball is happy, and then the person they hand it off to is happy. Everybody's happy, and the happiness is multiplied. Karen did the opposite. Someone got it handed to a kid. She's like, no, we will not let this end happy. This is Shirley in Alliance. You're on WBAP.
Hi. I think no one has brought up the point that she could have been very dangerous.
How?
Somebody who would do that would run after you and do that and get in your face that way. You don't know what's coming next. But secondly, the fact that it was a man, the father and the son, I think was very different than had it been a mother there. Because had it been me there, and I'm a solid Christian, okay, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't even think of hitting anybody. But had she got in my face that way, surprised me that way, and done that, and got that close to me, I would have turned my body flat against her, between her and my child. And had she just 1 second continued that, I literally would have taken both my hands and pushed her as far as I could. Now, if she fell down the bleachers, God help her, that would be her fault, because I would not let her come near my child. So a father, I think, has a different instinct. I think a guy, his instinct is to first be physical, maybe more than a female is. And she counted on him not doing that, maybe. I think that could have been it, that she knew she did that, and she knew that he wouldn't do that.
Well, you can get away with that, but if dad elbows her in the throat, he becomes the bad guy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying there's a different kind of rule, because had it been a female, I would have absolutely taken a physical defense against her had she done that in my face. And I think anybody expects that when you come between an adult and their child. There seems to be a different rule for if you come between a man and his child, or a woman and his child.
Agreed. Yeah, but I don't think someone who follows you over there is that dangerous if they're like a 60-year-old woman who's kind of frail. I mean, the most dangerous thing about her is she was wearing a Phillies jersey, and Phillies sports fans are notoriously awful people, and their reputation just got a little bit worse this weekend, but it is on par with the branding we all expect from the terrible group of people we call Philly sports fans.
Yeah.
Miserable people. All right. Well, thank you, Shirley.
I'll tell you this. Here's a cute phrase.
Okay.
The truth will set you free, but not till it's done with you. And she has got the truth coming after her in every place she goes today.
Yeah, I think she got fired already. That's so terrible. Yeah.
The truth is not going to let her go until it's done with her.
Her neighbors are going to give her crap. You're right. You're right.
Can you imagine your grandkids, what that's like?
You know what? That makes me feel a little bit better. Thank you, Shirley.
That's my grandma. She's getting it.
Right. Man, I told you grandma was a punk. All right. Todd, Fort Worth, you're next up on WBAP.
Hey, James. Yeah, the thing is that, when that ball's hit into the stands, it's playing ping pong. So, whoever gets that ball, and that's it. So the thing I would do, because she came over and confronted him the way that she did, you have to do some quick thinking and, decide, how you're going to react to this, because like one of your previous callers said, throw it back. That would be one of my instincts.
Okay.
And the other thing would be to stick it under my boxer shorts and say, Pocahontas, get it.
Oh, you're making because she looks like Elizabeth Warren, and that she does look like Elizabeth Warren, though. And someone already made the meme. Like, I'd only see the viral video like a couple hours before, and there's already a meme of like someone had photoshopped Elizabeth Warren's face onto the woman's body, and it fits so well that I thought it was the lady at first. I'm like, oh, she really does look like Elizabeth Warren from that. Oh, it's a Photoshop. All right, funny stuff. Everyone's having a good time with that.
Just like her.
Right, she does. All right, thank you, Todd. This is Randy in Frisco. You're on WBAP. Would you have given the ball back, sir?
So I guess you're straightening out for me. No Eagles games and no Phillies games. Just don't go to sporting events there.
Well, listen, this happened in Florida. So the ill branding.
Hold on, I'm about to get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on. So 1 section, 2 section, 3 sections, or 4. If the ball's on the ground, grab it and hit the door. Because if you don't, you're going to get Karen in your face, or potentially if you're at a Rays game and happens to be the 40th home run of a potential player there, then security will accost you, even though it's considered forfeited property by the courts. You're on their private property, and they can accost you, throw you in their little dungeon treatment area, and literally steal the ball from you so that you can't take it out of the stadium, and people just pretend like that didn't happen. So as long as you're not assaulting and or battering someone and you're at a game and you see a ball, grab it, put it in somewhere that you have absolute authority over what you put it in.
You know, I don't know that other story, but that makes me want to look it up. Thank you very much, Randy. That's, dang it. Why are you putting more stuff in my head that I have to Google later? Let me squeeze in one more. Rod in Forney's been waiting a long time. Hey, Rod, you're on WBAP.
Oh, good afternoon. I think that if the person that accosted the dad had been a dude, things might have turned out a little bit differently. But the way I read this guy's remarks, post-incident, I think he's probably trained his son, we don't hit girls. I think he's probably been told, we don't hit girls. And I think that was the foundation of his response toward this goofy woman. I think if
Agreed. But, I mean, you don't have to hit her. You could just tell her no.
Yeah, but like I say, the whole idea about, cupcake, I don't think he would have, any way in the world, he would have surrendered that ball to a man.
You know what? I agree with that, too. And why is that? Well, because women are held in special esteem in society. You were told this is some bloodthirsty, heartless patriarchy where we just oppress women. In my observation, it's been quite the opposite. Thank you very much. Good point, too, Rod. This is Vance in Arlington. You're on WBAP.
Yes, hi. Listen, I think the gentleman did the right thing because he...
The guy who gave the ball back to the Philly Karen.
Absolutely, okay. And the only reason I say that is because she was over there very adamant, throwing out a lot of cuss words, and he's sitting there with his 3 kids, and he didn't want to have it turn into a thing. I think it would have been a lot different if he would have been sitting there with another man and fans that he might have wanted to fight for it a little bit. But my God, what do you want to put your kids through with somebody cursing and throwing out the F word and everything else? I think he did fine, and I don't think it reflects badly on him as not being a man. I think he is being more of a man by taking care of his kids and shielding them from the craziness that might come from her throwing out all this nasty stuff. So I think he did the right thing, and it worked out. So,
well, look, I disagree, but you sound like such a nice guy. I don't even want to argue with you, Vance, because, you're shielding kids from cuss words or whatever and getting it to go away. And really, it's just a ball. It's not that big of a deal. And that's the lesson he's teaching his kids. But I would say conversely, it's just words. I think my kids need to know that your principles should stand up. Right and wrong does not change just because someone gets really angry and uses ugly words.
Yeah, well, that's true. But when you can de-escalate a situation, I think that might be a lifesaver in a lot of points.
Yeah, look, we're not in Nam here, dude. We're in the outfield of a Phillies game.
Yeah, I know. But that's a life lesson. When you can say, hey, it's better to stop this now, and that transcends.
See, I think that might be a bad lesson in many aspects, and it depending on the context. Just whatever stops the conflict, fine, I'll put a mask on, or whatever I got to take to keep my job, fine, I'll take the shot, or that's how we got into that whole COVID mess.
So you think if you're up at a 7-Eleven and you have a conflict with somebody, you shouldn't try and de-escalate and give it, even if you're wrong, if they're wrong.
Yes.
Sometimes it's smarter to de-escalate and not fight with somebody.
I agree. I agree that sometimes it's smarter to de-escalate and not fight with somebody. But in a situation that you're faced with in the outfield in the stands, worst case scenario, what is she going to get violent with you? She's no threat of any kind.
Well, you don't even know. And she is out there throwing all this language, and he's sitting there with his children, and they're fairly young.
All right.
I don't blame him a bit.
I hear you. All right. Some people are just too nice. You're too nice, Vance. I think you're nice to a fault. You're a nice person. You're a good person. But, I mean, people that agreeable, I think you're just lining yourself up to get exploited. Can I just come to your house and eat the meatloaf off your dinner table if I start cussing people out? I don't think so. I don't know. Like, it's also hard to argue against someone like Vance because he's taking the nice route.
The James Show Podcast.